I watched the game last night on ESPN. Especially, I mean, I didn't know what to watch because there was no Thursday Night Football on. So I was like, man, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna watch? Did some homework. Then I saw a high school football game on, and I didn't know if I wanted to watch it. It was high school. I settled on it, and I didn't know I was in for a treat. Little did I know, it was a game that I was gonna absolutely love watching. It was Arch Manning's high school, Isidore Newman. And, for those of you that don't know who Arch Manning is, I'm shocked that you don't. If you don't, well, let me tell you about him. Arch Manning is the son of elder Manning brother, Cooper. Yes, that Manning family. And he played in a game last night, his first televised game on ESPN, and it was on ESPN2. Isidore Newman was hosting Booker T. Washington in a matchup of two 2-0 teams. Honestly, Isidore Newman was and is clearly, they were the better team coming into that game, just because they have maybe one of the best quarterbacks I think I've ever watched in a high school game. Yes, he made mistakes. Yes. And I had been wanting to check out Arch since the first time I heard about him when it was spring ball and he was still technically an 8th grader playing for Isidore Newman High School. And the hype surrounding him is a quiet build. It's there. There's a massive hype, but it doesn't feel as massive as it should be, personally. And he's a heavily sought-after recruit. He's got scholarship offers from Bama, Clemson, Georgia. I mean, huge schools. And he's a 15-year-old sophomore that is 6'3" and 190 pounds. It's insane. What a spotlight around this kid. And just watching him play, I would have never known he was so young. He makes such great decisions. He does make mistakes, yes. He threw 2 interceptions last night, but any young quarterback makes mistakes. Any quarterback makes mistakes. There's none that are perfect. Not even Peyton Manning was perfect. Drew Brees isn't perfect. Aaron Rodgers isn't perfect. Tom Brady isn't perfect. Tom Brady forgot what down it was the other day in a week or so ago on Thursday Night Football. Dude thought it was 3rd down when it was 4th down. So even the greats make mistakes. This is a 15-year-old kid. And I would not have known that if you wouldn't have told me. I guess as a freshman, I didn't watch the game because, like I said, this is the first game I've ever watched of Arch Manning. But I guess as a freshman, when he played Booker T. Washington, he struggled a bit. He threw 3 interceptions, and he made some mistakes in last night's game as well, as he threw 2 interceptions. But every time he made a mistake last night, the next drive he got, the next opportunity, the next chance he was given, he came out, he did his thing, and he balled out. And I was going into this game not really knowing anything about Arch Manning, but knowing the last name and knowing that he was a member of the Manning family. So I expected a type of quarterback. A quarterback that stands in the pocket like a statue and delivers the football and makes reads at the line of scrimmage. And as I watched him, I was amazed at his mobility and his athleticism. I didn't expect Arch to be the runner that he was. Just because when I think of Manning, like I said, when I hear the last name Manning, I think of a statue quarterback that sits in the pocket, makes reads at the line of scrimmage, and just, when the pressure comes on and he can't get the ball out, he just takes a sack. That's what I think of. And Arch didn't really seem to force the ball like many other young quarterbacks that I have watched do. He was accurate. He had poise in the pocket. And he has a very nice arm. He isn't afraid to run it, though, when the pass isn't there. And that's what I liked. He has control of his team. And he now has a huge fan in me. I love the kid now. I watched highlights of him for, I think, an hour plus after that game ended. I loved watching what that kid was doing. I watched a little bit more film on it as well. Not just highlights, but some film. And while he might not be under such big a spotlight as I think he deserves, mainly because his age, but if he was somebody else, I feel like the spotlight would end up finding him. Like, if he take away everything, just take it all away. Take away the fact that he's a Manning person. Name him Joe. I almost said Joe Burrow, but name him Joe Smith. He's the son of an electrician. Who knows? And this kid is doing this at such a young age. He might not have the spotlight that Arch has right now, but at some point he would be a heavily sought after recruit. Heavily. And it's insane. The spotlight that is on him, though, it's partly smaller because, like, Arch isn't on social media, which is weird for a kid his age. And normally a kid his age that's that good would have already probably committed to a school. And I'll be completely honest with you, when I watched him, at times it felt like I could have been watching maybe possibly Trevor Lawrence. That's how good this kid is. He's not as talented as Trevor Lawrence is currently, but he looks like Trevor Lawrence. And it could be just the fact that he wears number 16. He's sneaky athletic and can chuck the football when needed. But he makes good decisions and stuff like that. And every team in the country is going to want to shoot their shot with this kid. I just guarantee it. But Arch isn't a normal, everyday recruit that you see. He's not a normal, overhyped recruit. He's not a normal, extremely highly touted recruit, mainly because, like I said, he isn't on social media. And if he was, he might honestly be hyped up on the level of Zion Williamson or like LeBron was back in the day. It's insane the hype that would surround this kid if he was on social media posting stuff and stuff like that. It would be just absolutely fun to see. And I'm glad he's not on social media because it makes it for a more interesting recruiting story because, like I said, if he was on social media, there's a chance he'd be committed somewhere already just because of all the hype. But the Mannings and Arch seem to want to take an old school approach where you build connections and you take your time. And I enjoy that type of recruiting because that's more of a challenge for the recruiters. And it's going to let you know who really cares about your kid. So I'm just excited to watch Arch over the next couple of years. I've done a lot of recording today. I've done a lot of note-taking today. I did not sleep a whole lot last night. And I am kind of tired. Because mainly I was up a long time watching this Arch Manning stuff. And I'm just excited to watch Arch Manning. I hope, honestly, Arch, if you do see this, I hope that you do help lead Isidore Newman to their first state title in Louisiana history. Because even though Isidore Newman had your brother, your dad, his two brothers, and Odell Beckham play there in their school, that team somehow never won a national championship. And I hope you are the kid that can do it because you are special. And I'm a huge fan of yours. Continue to put on for the Manning family and continue to put on for the football. Maybe the greatest football family of all time, the Mannings. I'm excited for you, kid. Just know that.